Pisces, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. In this video, we're going to review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line this week. This is the week of May 26th. No. This is the week of May 31st to June 6th. I've got it all written down here, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. We're going to start out really broad with the big stuff, the stuff that impacts everyone. And then we're going to focus in on those things that Pisces, all Pisces in particular, should be taking note of, whether good or bad, should be taking note of. And then we'll break it down into the decans. And a decan is a group of 10 degrees. All zodiac signs have a total of 30 degrees, which means all zodiac signs have 3 decans. We break things down in astrology to 10-degree increments because it's the 10 degrees that really determine if the aspect or particular angle between two planets is strong. If it's outside of the realm of 10 degrees, it's really too weak to be impacting each other. But within that 10-degree toggle point, we can tell if that aspect has really formed and then if it's going to be impacting you. So you don't need to know the exact degree on which your natal sun sits in Pisces. That is the best, and the way to do that is to generate a natal chart for yourself. And no, this isn't an advertisement because you can get it totally for free. Just search it, free natal chart, and all you'll need is your birth date, which you already have, your birth time, and your birth location. You can put all that information in, and in a couple of seconds you'll have a full natal chart, and you'll know exactly at which degree your sun sits in Pisces. Now, you don't need that for this video. All you need to know is your birth date. You can enjoy this video just fine because I will be translating or telling you the estimated correlating birth dates to the degrees. So you really just need your birth date, but the most accurate way is to find out your sun sign. And if you're a real astrology geek like me and you just love astrology, generating your natal chart is the best way to start. It's the way that all astrologers start, is to just get curious about you and what your birth chart means. Let's start with the really big stuff, okay? And like I said, I'm always going to be looking down at my notes. I know, it's a little lame how non-technical I am. I should have all my tech set up, but actually, unfortunately, I can't right now because my computer cracked during travel, so I have to get a new screen on it, and it's just a delightful, right? So I have my notes. I always have my notes. There is a full moon this week, and it's in Sagittarius. It's around between June 3rd and June 4th of this week. It's about 13 and 14 degrees Sagittarius, because that's where the sun is when the moon is in direct opposition to it. The sun is in Gemini. So what this does is it's a full moon then that is in mutable signs. So Pisces is in a natural square to this full moon. Now, not all of your natal suns are in a direct square. There's only a group of you who are. But that means that it's going to be probably a little bit more frustrating, which could make it a little bit more emotional. That's not a bad thing, actually. Natural squares will create challenges to help you understand things deeper, but it will be more intense for you. Just an FYI. The full moon in Sagittarius gives us an opportunity to grow and allow our emotions to expand and be more curious. When the moon is in Sagittarius, it likes to have fun. It likes to adventure. And if it's been bound or stuck, it will get extraordinarily frustrated. So expect that this full moon is going to show you how you have been bound, where you have been stuck, where you have been not allowing yourself to expand and grow or be curious or be intrepidatious, because that's what the moon in Sagittarius is all about. Now, this moon in Sagittarius, when it's full, is going to be trying to Chiron in Aries. So Chiron in Aries sits about 18 degrees Aries right now, and a trine to Chiron means that you're all about healing. So essentially, this is going to give you an opportunity to, yes, be frustrated through maybe some uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable emotional situations, to see and realize where you have been bound and not letting yourself expand and grow, where you have been too confined. But it's also going to give you a chance to heal, right? So that's actually a really wonderful opportunity for you. But like I said, expect, say, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to be a little bit more emotional for you, because over that period of time when the moon is interacting in opposition to the sun, all of you will actually get a chance to have a little bit of moon interaction in your life. So we also have a transit this week on the 5th of this week, on June 5th. Venus is heading into Leo. Venus right now is in Cancer, and she's actually very happy there. So she's and the good thing about Venus in Cancer is most of the time Venus is in a natural trine to your sun, at least throughout the month. She's been in a natural trine. When she goes into Leo, she's not in a natural trine anymore. She's in a quincunx. So now that will hit you guys at different times throughout the rest of this month, but that means that there's some frustrating stuff that could come up. This is just an FYI. Venus in Leo in general needs a lot of attention. And if she's not getting it, she gets very frustrated, or she feels very unloved. She's extremely loyal and extremely charismatic, and loves to shower the one that she loves with attention and affection, because this is how she wants to be loved and appreciated in Leo. There is a general feeling that with finances, she could try to, want the flashiest things, be a little bit more materialistic than usual. So definitely watch the purse strings. But overall, I don't think she should be causing, I'm not going to say that, because when she first enters Leo in this first week and a half, Venus is going to be in opposition to Pluto, which is the other big aspect that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Venus opposite Pluto means there's going to be dynamic changes and extremes when it comes to value systems, when it comes to what turns you on and what you feel good about, and who you're attracted to, what you're attracted to. So there could be, over the next week and a half, different kinds of changes, surprising changes that come up when Venus is in opposition to Pluto. So her first week and a half in Leo is going to be super dramatic and super diva. Just an FYI, especially since Pluto is also in square to Jupiter, and she will then be also square to Jupiter as she enters Leo. Yeah, she'll be square to Jupiter by the end of this week. So square to Jupiter, opposition to Pluto, major upheavals when it comes to any Venus dominated aspects of life, which is value systems, which is what turns you on and how much you value things that you value. So this is a very diva-esque extreme energy, and if you're feeling that in the air, you'll know why, and we'll talk about who this could be impacting directly this week. So we also have Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus. This is interesting because Taurus is in a natural sextile to Pisces. So over the course of so this week it will only be actually impacting some of you directly, but overall, this is a pretty big conjunction that we experienced a couple of weeks ago when Mercury was in retrograde. But now that Mercury is out of retrograde and gone direct, this conjunction to Uranus is quite brilliant, quite bright, and absolutely you can't ignore it. We're all gonna feel it. Some odd, awkward, weird, strange, unusual, and wonderful discoveries, aha moments, and conversations are going to be coming out of this, and this could mean some dissemination or distribution of tech ideas, or huge tech ideas coming through, especially when it comes with words. I know that we've been talking a lot about AI when it comes to words. I was telling you guys if you watch my channel way back in October, when there were some interesting conjunctions with Uranus, I was like, there is some major technological breakthroughs that are going to be happening. And then all of a sudden AI is come out. Uranus has been highly active. I don't think it's happened all of a sudden, but the announcement of it, the general acceptance of it or understanding of it has definitely come to be over these past couple of weeks when Mercury and Uranus have been heavily interacting. And that's to be expected because Uranus rules huge tech breakthroughs, like genius kind of level energy, but conjunct Mercury. Mercury is the day-to-day communication. So when the two of them get together, it's sort of the distribution of the brilliant stuff to everybody, like communicating it to everybody. So it's interesting, and feel free to leave your comments below with what ends up coming out over this week. Let's dig down into the specifics of, I also want to point out that Jupiter is still square to Pluto, which makes everything more intense. It just does. Overall, and through June 15th, it just makes everything bigger and more exaggerated and excessive, which could be good, but usually errs to the point of out of control. So just an FYI, that's what this time has been about. Let's go into those things that specifically Pisces should be looking at, particularly your ruling dignitaries. So a ruling dignitary is gonna, whatever it's doing, whatever's happening to it, it's gonna sort of impact you, even if it's not directly correlating to your natal sun. It's always something that you should be aware of. As a Cancerian, I tell all Cancerians to buy a moon calendar, know where the moon is, because it's going to impact your bottom line, your day-to-day. For us, it's going to impact us emotionally. Now, your ruling dignitaries are Neptune and Jupiter, and Neptune is certainly an emotional energy, but Neptune is also a surprising energy. It represents those forces and energies in your life that will even surprise you, those aspects and dynamics about yourself that are a mystery to you, and things will pop up out of there that you didn't even realize or understand. And Jupiter, of course, represents those aspects in your life where you have growth opportunities, and you have sort of your intrepidatiousness and your curiosities about the world, and religious and spiritual beliefs. So all of those things will end up sort of necessitating where or being impacted by where those ruling dignitaries are living right now. So Jupiter is in Taurus right now, and Neptune is in Pisces. So Neptune is at home. It's actually conjunct everybody who is a Pisces 3, because at the end of Pisces, it's at 27 degrees Pisces. And Jupiter is between 3 and 4 degrees Taurus. So Taurus is a beautiful energy for Jupiter to be in because it's just grounded enough for it not to get too crazy. It should be expanding and growing a lot of dynamics when it comes to financials, but the fact that it's been square to Pluto for a while has really, I think, exacerbated and turned things into more of a shit show than they have to be. It's definitely been making permanent changes. Yeah, it's definitely been making some permanent changes. Please let me know how you're experiencing those. But Neptune this week is trine to Venus. Venus is in that makes Venus in a very poignant position this week because she's also square to Jupiter and in opposition to Pluto. Neptune trine to Venus is very dreamy energy. So it could be that we see a lot of our self-delusions or dreaminess being exposed or being realized, or being like helping us to imagine something outside of the worst. So depending on how you use the energy, it could make things worse for you or make things much better, because it's a very creative energy. It's a very graceful energy. There's a lot of elegance involved. And for those of you who are in Pisces 3, you'll see this adding to your charisma levels this week. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Neptune is in a long-term sextile to Pluto, which we've talked about about this before. I'll briefly review it. It means over the next about 13 years, there's a lot of spiritual shifts. There's a lot of opportunities for different spiritualities, or the coming together of different spiritual or connections with the God space to be improved upon, or for doors to open in that area that we haven't really discovered before, really haven't maybe seen before in other generations. Now for this week, Jupiter is still square to Pluto, which we have reviewed. It's conjunct the North Node because of where it is. It's at 3 degrees Taurus, which puts it in perfect conjunction with the North Node and opposition with the South Node. And that means it's all about the future. It wants to move forward. It wants to expand and grow potential opportunities for the future. This is going to impact you by generating this kind of oomph when it comes to actually getting outside of your comfort zone and wanting to try or share with people different aspects of your nature. This week, Jupiter is still square to Mars. For the first, it's not going to be square to Mars. Well, yeah, it will be for a little while longer. It's still square to Mars. So what does that mean? Everything is more extreme. If you've been feeling that energy of just being impulsive, being extra physical, getting extra injuries, or pushing yourself too hard physically, and maybe even because Jupiter is in Taurus and Mars is in Leo, financially. Over romanticizing the situation and acting on impulse. Now this could just be a helpful energy that's kicking you outside of your comfort zone, right? And it may be a little bit challenging and frustrating, but ultimately it could also be what's generating the push or oomph for you to get out of that safety zone. It's just going to be a lot more intense and impulsive and risk of injury than normal, so just be aware of that. Pisces, let's get into the decans. So the decans are groups of 10 degrees. If your natal sun falls between 0 and 9 degrees Pisces, you are a decan 1. This birth dates correlate to basically February Pisces, anywhere between the 19th or 20th of February through the 30th of February. So yeah, it's about that time, maybe up to the 29th, around 30th of Pisces. Those would be the correlating birth dates for Pisces 1. Pisces 1, long term, your natal suns have been conjunct to Saturn because Saturn is at 7 degrees Pisces. It's actually between 6 and 7 degrees Pisces. It's moving between 6 and 7 degrees this week. What does that mean? It means taking things more seriously. It means growing up. It means having more authority to your particular nature, but it could also mean being harder on yourself. It's great for work. It's great for work ethic, and will definitely push you forward. It just may be relentless and never leave you alone. Your natal suns this week, though, in particular, are sextile to Jupiter conjunct the North nodes. This is bringing up a lot of opportunities for your future, or for your energy levels to be able to move themselves into your future and get future focused. This is beautiful energy, opportunity, optimism, and fortune, and definitely take advantage of it. We also have, however, a quincunx to Mars. It is you guys who have the quincunx to Mars, and by the 1st of this week, if you are at the cusp, so the cusp between Aquarius and Pisces, which would probably mean just say the 19th or 20th of February, you guys will also be by the 1st quincunx to Venus, because Venus will be at 0 degrees. Well, no. She'll be in the last degrees of Cancer, but you'll start to feel that quincunx to Venus as well. So quincunx to Venus and quincunx to Mars. There's going to be some frustration when it comes to your sex life, when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to dating. This is not the best time to date. There's a lot of just tension that's going on right now between the masculine and feminine in your life. Not the best time to get new hairstyles or new hairdos or change any aesthetic in your life, because you'll basically do it through frustration. It's just more of it's not full upheaval. It's just pain in the ass kind of energy. Just gonna say. And with Venus being in opposition to Pluto and square to Jupiter, it's gonna be, I'm telling you, just watch out how you react to this energy, because it's going to be like you could take things more intensely than they are. It's really over dramatic. So watch out for that energy this week. You should be, not beware, but be aware. Let's go on to Pisces 2. So Pisces 2, if your natal suns are between 10 and 19 degrees Pisces. So this usually covers the so probably the 30th through the 9th or 10th of March is your birthdays, the correlating birthdays. Basically the first week and a half of March usually is Pisces 2. Through the 4th, through June 4th, you guys are going to be sextile to Mercury. Okay. The 9th, if your birthdays are like the 9th, 10th of March, this will be all week long for you guys. So what does that mean? That means exceptional communication. That means your brain is really big, really large, and doing a really great job, really clear. This is a fantastic time to interview, to present ideas, to communicate, to write, to disseminate information, to look and research for information, to speak, to know, to understand. This is an exceptional opportunity for you, especially in any kind of communications, work, play, whatever it is. So definitely take the bull by the horn when it comes to that, because Mercury is, after all, in Taurus. So get to it, which could provide also some financial insights, which is really yummy. You guys will be the ones that are square to the full moon in Sagittarius. So it'll be especially emotional for you guys and present particular challenges that will come up when it comes to emotionally healing or getting yourself unblocked. It'll be the roughest for you, but it could also be the most productive for you when it comes to confronting those aspects of your life where you have been stuck. This is where you'll feel the most frustration, and it's not to get you angry, it's to get you aware. And with that sextile to Mercury, awareness is actually a blessing this week, because you can make it productive and do something with the information. We also have a square to the sun all week long. Square to the sun, which means questioning yourself, challenges with your ego in check, people clashing with other people's ego, and in a lot of ways being unconfident. It could also be challenges to your romantic lives. So FYI, if you were born around the 9th or 10th, you'll start to feel a quincunx to Mars forming toward the end of the week, which means toward the end of the week, you'll start to feel more frustrated, more impulsive, more physically tense or needy. And I would just watch out with pushing yourself too hard, because any challenging aspect to Mars could set you up for injury more than usual, physical injury more than usual. Just an FYI, that's toward the end of this week. It's you guys that will really start to feel that energy. Now we'll go on to Pisces 3. Pisces 3s, if your natal suns are between 20 and 29 degrees Pisces. Clearly this is not, the 20th to the 29th, but I would estimate it's about, say the 11th of March through the 21st of March would be Pisces 3. It's your guy's natal sun who is conjunct Neptune, which means more Pisces than Pisces could be, right? Since Neptune is your ruling dignitary and it is in your domicile, conjunction to your natal sun helps you discover yourself, discover your own faith, you know, discover your own spirituality and psychic energy. All of this is very mystical and magical and may not make sense, but it'll make sense psychically. So allow yourself over the next couple of years to really get to know yourself in these different ways. There's a lot of good stuff that's happening for you this week. A lot. Your natal suns are sextile to Uranus and sextile to Uranus and sextile to Mercury, but it's sextile to Mercury by the 4th of this week. So toward the end of this week, the 4th through the 6th, and especially on the 4th when Mercury conjuncts Uranus, your natal suns are sextile to that. So there's just major opportunities opening up through technology, online, social media, through any kind of communications by getting out there and speaking. A lot of applications or ways that this could amalgamate, but this is a real blessing to you and could mean huge advancements, especially in career or the way you distribute information or whatever you've created. This is a great time for you to use social media, use the net, use technology to talk and speak and reach out to people. So this is good stuff. If you are born at the cusp, so the cusp between Pisces and Aries, your natal suns are sextile to Pluto. This would probably be those who are born maybe the 20th or 21st, and this means exciting and dynamic changes in your life. This means having an authority to your character that people respect, and it intensifies who you are, but in a way that people will open doors for you. They're like, hey, let me get out of this person's way. You won't even have to ask. This is a real expanding and growing energy that will create permanent changes in your life and fantastic opportunities for you to change your life over the next couple of years. So enjoy that. And then this week, let's go into those. I wrote this in particular. I got to talk about it. Those who are born on the 10th, 11th, and 12th will be the most impacting, or the Mercury-Uranus conjunction will have the most dramatic or intense impact on you guys. So it's basically everybody, but those of you born around the 10th, 11th, and 12th are going to feel the most dynamic interaction with that Uranus-Mercury conjunction. And I'd love for you to leave the comments below to say how is it interacting with you. I would love to know. Feel free to leave comments below, everyone. I love you guys so much. Please come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot and enjoy Born Without Boundaries Tarot Pisces. There's a specific channel just for you guys, for Pisces all the time. Yeah, come on over for your week ahead tarot card reading, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video before you click off. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.